Welcome back, Dota 2 fans, and a hearty hello for those of you joining us. Our second series of the day, ProDota National Cup. We've got Team Deutschland versus Greece in this best of one tiebreaker. So winner is going to move on to the upper bracket in our double elimination playoffs. Loser goes on to the lower bracket. So pretty big implications here. We'll see if we see any niche picks from either side. A moment captaining the one, Spartan, and the other. Both very, very skilled teams. Probably one of the closer matchups we've seen in these tiebreakers, and certainly both with some recognizable names here. But either way, I'm going to hop into this one, and thus far have been some pretty standard bans, pretty indicative bans of what the meta is dictating at this point. So no surprises just yet. But we'll see how these two teams advance thus far. If you guys aren't familiar with the players, most of Greece are former members of London Conspiracy and now Golden Boys. On the other side of things, for Germany, a lot of them play together and have played together. Currently on HeflaTV. So HeflaTV, a moment, Coop, Luft is one of them there as well. But Fimet has certainly played with them. So we'll see how they end up gelling together. Both teams fared a little bit disappointingly in the group stage. Greece actually came fourth in their group. It was a pretty tough group, granted. Romania, the United States, and Sweden, Sweden was the best team in the group stage by far. So Greece had a tough road. Germany finished third to Yugoslavia and Ukraine. Ukraine widely considered one of the strongest teams. Yugoslavia, a little bit of a sleeper, and were able to pull off that one position in Group B. So we'll see how these teams fare against one another. But as mentioned, loser going to go down to the lower bracket of the double elim playoffs. Winner goes up to the upper bracket. So pretty big one. Thus far, the opening is going to be IO Dazzle. A lot of sustain to Greece's side. Dazzle has been prioritized a lot more in the CIS region than anywhere else in the world. So interesting to see Greece pick it up here. Queen of Pain, of course, for obvious reasons, pretty strong early on, and is damn good against the IO. So picking the IO up into the Queen of Pain is a little bit curious, but certainly still a very strong hero. We'll see if Germany actually end up going for the Tiny here to deny that up from Spartan's crew. It looks like they're taking a moment to think about it, certainly. No pun intended, a moment being the drafter, but still a lot of really strong heroes available in the pool. Wyvern deals with this IO +1 pretty well. Witch Doctor deals with it pretty well. Tusk isn't bad. Defensive Snowball against the Relocate is pretty good, and against the Tiny in general. But they will be able to, of course, ban out the Tiny, as the Dazzle was picked up instead of the Tiny in that first phase. So pretty obvious ban for Team Germany there. Spirit Breaker, another great counter to IO +1. He's going to be removed from the pool. Wouldn't be too surprised to see the Wyvern ban come out. Wyvern also pretty damn good against Dazzle, being that Dazzle's nuke is physical damage. So Cold Embrace is going to be able to nullify that if you get it off in the right timing window. MRP, your resident Canadian Dota 2 caster here, your English coverage. ProDota, shout out to G2A.com, Dota 2 Lounge, Hitbox.tv, and eSport Gaming, and of course ProDota for putting this all together. Guys, hope you're enjoying it thus far. This is the last, actually maybe the second last, I want to say. Tiebreakers still to be played, Kazakhstan versus France. So one more tiebreaker and we are done with the group stages for the ProDota National Cup. And therefore we will go on to the double elim playoffs. Posted the Wikipedia link in chat, and for everything else regarding the tournament, head over to prodota.eu for all information and to check out the team. Some really talented teams, Germany being one of them, Greece being another, and as mentioned, a little bit disappointing. But expect these teams to go pretty deep, I feel, alongside the likes of Sweden, Russia, and Ukraine. If I had to make a top 5 right now, would definitely include those 5 teams, and perhaps Yugoslavia in there as well. It's going to be a Darkseer early on. Darkseer, another, of course, counter essentially to the IO +1. So really looking to cover their bases are Spartan and the Greece squad. And they've been pretty effective thus far at doing it. The Wyvern's still available to Team Germany. I wouldn't be too surprised to see them pick that up. Witch Doctor also there as well. Ember Spirit, another one that stands out a bit. Would be a safe lane Ember in this case. More than likely. Still very flexible options for Team Germany. Not as much, of course, for Greece, as they are more than likely going to pick up 2 cores here, unless Dazzle is in a core role, which is highly improbable, to say the least. So, Juggernaut band comes out. Juggernaut pretty good against the IO as well, can look to pop him off pretty quickly.
Witch Doctor.
But it is going to be the Witch Doctor. No surprises there. There's only a select few kind of direct counters left to this IO +1
Assassin
combo, and Witch Doctor certainly one of them. And he'll be picked up. TA is a very interesting pick. So far it's like the pinkish purple draft from Team Greece. Dazzle, Darkseer, TA. We'll just say IO is colorless, so he fits that. But TA is really nice so far, but I mean the response pick is certainly a warranted one. Alchemist with that acid spray mid lane does very well against the TA. In fact, they may have to bring another hero into this lane for her to withstand the acid spray from the Alchemist. Alchemist also pretty good against the Wisp with the unstable concoction and the acid spray. So really do like this Alchemist pickup from Germany. Feel like it's a perfect situation for them. Undying Band does come out. So who is the IO partner here? Tiny not in the pool, Gyrocopter not in the pool. CK still there, Sven is still there. Sven could do well. With a melee support like Tusk and the Alchemist, who doesn't have the greatest base armor, I feel like Sven could do well. Wraith King, it's a ban that's understandable, being as there's a lot of burst damage here. It will be the CK, though. Will be the CK. So until Witch Doctor gets an Aghanims up, the Acid Spray and the Sonic Wave are almost the only way for them to deal with these CK illusions. So it is a pretty good scenario for this CK. I still worry for this TA mid lane quite heavily. Thinking of aggressive offlaners right now. Could just be a Lich pickup. Lich deals really well with the IO +1, especially if you're able to get up an Ags. And so far there are 2 good Aghanims upgrades. One kind of crappy one with the Tusk, and Lich would be a great one with the unlimited bounces up against the CK. That pretty much instantly clears up the illusions from the Chaos Knight. So I would love to see a Lich pick here. It's going to get some more experience for the Tusk. It's going to be able to spam out that safe lane CK quite heavily. Unless they put the dual lane mid with the TA bottom. But even then, the TA bottom against a Lich is not the greatest matchup for that TA. I really love the Lich pick here. Other considerations? Anything aggressively natured. Maybe something like an Abaddon alongside the Tusk.
Weaver.
It's going to be a Weaver. So support Tusk. Offlane Weaver. For Zinxis. Could even be a solo safe lane Weaver up against the Darkseer with a Queen of Pain centric tri-lane around the Tusk and the Witch Doctor, and I wouldn't mind that at all. I mean, an IO generally makes your lanes weak, and the Alchemist is going to at least draw even, if not win the lane versus the TA. Couple of disconnects. Wasn't from Team Deutschland. I'm going to get this while we have time. Sorry, guys. Yes, Germany versus Germany, guys. I'm going to throw this up. Make it a little more obvious. Greece is on the Radiant side. I really felt like Lich would have worked extremely well, but I'll get over it. Weaver is an interesting pick here. We'll see how it fares. They do lack catch quite heavily. Quite heavily. They actually only have the Chaos Bolt as a disable. And they can get the Aghanim's time lapse. I don't mind the Weaver pick at all. In fact, it's a pretty good situation for the Weaver. It remains to be seen what the lanes are, but I feel like 1v1 versus the Darkseer, the Weaver is fine, if not winning that lane. Look at that Queen of Pain, eh? Well, all of a sudden when you showcase her, she dropped down. That's interesting, isn't it? Reborn. Reborn things. This is the squad. Team Deutschland. It's kind of fitting that the pimped out Witch Doctor is right in the middle, isn't it? Hopefully we can get this one underway soon, guys. It's like a DC from Spartan, the captain of the Greece side. But he had to restart the PC. Seems like ill saying that. The two shadowy figures in the Dazzle and the Witch Doctor. Oh, what the heck. Leading their squads here. This squad doesn't look quite as badass as the other one. Especially considering TA is currently getting ready to do the 200-meter run. Check that out. On your marks. Maybe there's some secrets down there that are only revealed to the TA. Who knows? For my people. I remember when this drum was worth like $4 in the market. $4 or $5. It's worth like 10 cents now. Oh, the good old days. Thanks, Volvo. You guys enjoyed the cast thus far? You can follow me at Mrpdota on Twitter. You can flame me as well. Why not? Hopefully you've joined us for the earlier series. If not, welcome aboard ProDota National Cup. Second last tiebreaker, second last match overall. It is a BO1, guys, so your rares are not safe. If you guys haven't already, it might be expired now. It's only a BO1. Check the chat. Join the giveaway. It's going to be closed right as the draft exits. So it's probably closed by now. But if you haven't joined the giveaway, those of you that have, you know you got to win to get in. Like Deion Sanders, top 10. So if your team wins, you can win a €3 G2A gift card. Thanks to G2A.com. Dota 2 Lounge, Esport Gaming. Hitbox.tv, ProDota, putting this all together. Should be a real good matchup here. Feel like Deutschland have the draft really firmly in their grasp in this one, though. They don't lack really any, like their lineup is very well balanced. They have a good amount of initiation. They have a good defensive potential. They have some sustain from the Witch Doctor. They have tons of chase. Tusk, Weaver, Queen of Pain all have the chase. So, I mean, Grave TP is a good possibility before Walrus Punch comes out. Often you're going to initiate with Cask and Unstable Concoction. So, Grave TP is definitely a thing for the Radiant side. But once that Walrus Punch comes out, it's going to be a little bit more dicey. Relocate save a possibility too, but yeah, this Weaver really has very little to worry about aside from getting nuked from like a big Shadow Wave early on or a 4-second Chaos Bolt. But other than that, seems like a pretty good situation for him. You can get up a pretty early Aghanims as well, which gives it a 0 mana cost on the time lapse. So hopefully get this one underway, Spartan. DC'd at the moment. So he is on TeamSpeak, so hasn't completely left us. Should be reconnecting shortly. We'll introduce the lineups in the meantime. Team Deutschland. The Reich. A moment captaining up on the Witch Doctor. Zinx is going to be playing that Queen of Pain. Coop on the Tusk. Fimit going to be on the Weaver. And should I even try this? Kotbeshmirter. I'm going to call him Alchemist for the whole game. On the Alchemist. I mean, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to bring up our fearless leader, HeflaTV. See if he can pronounce that. Looks like screen's reconnecting into this one, guys. Oh, okay. It's a bad word in German. What do you know? Guess I just swore on stream, guys. Spartan gonna load in for his Grease squad. He's gonna be playing the IO. Ill is gonna be on that Dazzle. Saucy gonna be playing on the CK. Thug is picking up that TA, and finally Relax gonna be on the Darkseer. So usually with Ill, Thug, Relax, and Spartan you would see Milan, but Milan's kind of freelancing around doing his own thing. Been in a bunch of different teams recently. I'm gonna jump out. Gets a deep ward down early. Sentries are present on the IO, so. Four-man smoke mid lane from Germany. Five-man movement bottom. Who's got the level 1 advantage here? If the Alchemist skills up Acid Spray, it feels pretty good for them. Ion Shell is a deadly wonder, though. And they do have the Dazzle and the IO for Sustain. Sustain early on is very powerful, so remains to be seen. The heck is going on? Shout out. Word. Coop needs a second on the Tusk. And we'll get into this here. Nobody going to be in any imminent danger for the time being. Top lane smoked up. Really want to secure this bounty rune for the Alcherisk, who has a profane name. Shame on you, Alchemist. Shame on you. Waiting for the rotation up. They're not going to find anyone just yet. Still 10 seconds. If I'm going to be pinged out. Why not skill this Shikuchi? I mean, you're not going to skill anything else. Let's be honest here. No contest at the top rune. Relax is going to go towards it, but the Alchemist, easy 500 golden experience. Or 500 golden experience. Snowball is going to catch on the low ground. There's 3 heroes here. Is he going to skill up the Surge? He is. He's going to be able to make it away. But no Ion Shell at level 1 for this Darkseer is going to really hinder his laning stage. That's a win in and of itself for Deutschland. Thug mid lane has to skill up the Refraction level 1. Does not have that Side Blades. Does not have the Side Blades. That's going to be a little bit annoying all around for the laning stage of Team Greece. Fimit bot lane, not in really any trouble. I mean, he'll be zoned a bit, but he'll find experience relatively easily. Yeah, Weaver not the best base regen. Dazzle, decent poke, 50 base damage there. That's the one thing Weaver does have going for him as a hero, is some great base damage, but doesn't have the best animation. Thug mid lane. Coop rotating in, he's got the snowball. Underneath the Acid Spray, a couple right clicks are going to do some work, but they probably won't kill him off here. Thug able to salve up. Doing pretty well. 5-1 to the 6-2 of the Alchemist. Yeah, Definitely a favorable matchup for the Alchemist here. Coop rotating top lane. Still no Ion Shell. First creep of experience found here by Relax. This is not what you want if you're Team Grease. You really want, of all lanes, your Darkseer to have a good time. But that's not the case right now. Xinxis is getting all that he wants on this Queen of Pain, already level 3. Relax cannot even zone this Tusk. He has no Ion Shell. I mean, Coop doesn't want to trade because he's a little low, but a moment rotating in. Now they have the cask available. They're going to throw it out. It's going to bounce nicely between Thug and Relax. Relax is dead. First blood.
Stick a bone in it. You're done.
Goes the way of Team Deutschland. It is a moment. Gonna pick the one to pick up that kill, and early boots could be nice on the Witch Doctor. Thug in a bit of trouble mid lane, and Coop will be able to back out. Oh, bottom though, they do get 5 mid. Not a kill you really expect. Chaos Bolt, of course, had to be used for that one. Fortunately, he did get hit by quite a few spirits. 7 spirits in all. So that'll do you in. 5 mid. Perhaps feeling like there's a ward there. And they will find the TA as well in the meantime mid lane. But Chaos Bolt gonna be disjointed. Thug returning to mid lane. Relax. Still does not have Ion Shell. What do you do as a Darkseer with Surge? What do you do? Alchemist's taking a lot of punishment there. He does not have a salve or anything of the sort. He has an empty bottle at this point. He's ferrying out a salve. Probably will bottle Crow as well. He'll be alright. Pings come out from Coop. And rotate back in. Wants a moment to walk over as well. Right now, Fimet doing a little bit of pull contesting. He's actually going to try and chase the Wisp down. He's going to take a lot of these spirits to the face. He gets a haste though, luckily Spartan does. So he'll be just fine. He's able to tether up to the high ground as well. Brings himself a pack of dust. Alchemist farming well, 20 CS to the 19 of the TA. Grievel's Greed going to help in that cause. Thug in a little bit of trouble. He's going to be able to posture up aggressively. There's no Chemical Rage just yet. And the Snowball is going to have to come through onto Thug. They're going to get the Acid Spray off as well. The cast comes through. It's only going to bounce 1 time. And the Alchemist's in trouble, but with the shards, as the Refraction comes down and those bottle charges, Alchemist will find the kill, and that'll mean he'll be able to get Chemical Rage as well. Meanwhile, though, Fimet does die again, bot lane on the Weaver. You expect the Weaver to have a better time in this game, but I mean, Team Deutschland aren't too concerned about it overall. It could have been the Tusk Lich off lane, but Tusk is getting more than enough done in this early game. And we knew TA would have a rough time, even early in the draft. Starkseer picked up level 2 yet? He does have level 2 now. Queen of Pain not too worried about the Ion Shell though, in all honesty. Xinxis will be just fine in this lane. Probably picking up early treads. Could be a Midas. Well, probably the less likely of the choice, though. They're going for the screen there. Will be just fine. Xinxis farming well. 28 CS to the 31 of his laning counterpart. So CK doing very well. 2 assists and the lead of the CS. Jump forward with the Reality Rift. Dust is there. They'll throw out the Chaos Bolt. This is a pretty deep dive, though. Sakuchi is only level 2, however. Magic tries to keep him up. Cast going to come through. It's only going to bounce once on the Wisp, but it's a dead Wisp, more or less. Yep. They'll finish it off. A moment finds his 2nd kill of the game. Voodoo Restoration will be there for Fimet as well. Odd to see this 1-2-1 build. You'd probably want to see 3 points in the Shikuchi there, but it's fine. Swarm is actually very good in the value point early on, so definitely since the changes to it, considered a little bit more effective. Coop, alongside his Alchemist, going to do a little bit of farming. Bill does not want to run into that. Saucy does have his full treads up, his laning equivalent. Can have her full treads if she wants them as well. Maybe going Midas on Xinxis. Hard to say who to favor in the late game. But with all the Aghanims upgrades, I mean, Team Deutschland have an excellent lineup. 3 heroes with great Aghanims upgrade, 1 with a mediocre one. Thug in a bit of trouble. Gonna have all his refraction, defensive refraction charges procced from the acid spray, but Ill will be behind him with the Shadow Wave. But he's just fine. Looks like it might be the early Solar Crest build. I'm a big fan of this build on the Alchemist. No one who's notoriously susceptible to minus armor here, though. PA pretty good with her armor, being an AG carry. TK not bad. 5 armor, sitting on 5 armor right now with treads. Bot lane, they're going to go onto the Weaver. They're going to find him with a 3-second stun. A lot of spirits in the face as well. We'll be able to time-lapse this one, though, and maybe wants to fight. Swarm through 1. He's going to go for Spartan here. He's going to have to tether back, but the snowball is there. Dead Wiz. Shards will finish him off. Sorry, lost the mouse there for a second, guys. Cask rolls through to Saucy. He's going to try and turn this one. And since he uses the Chaos Bolt, that's going to open Fimit up to right-click him. And he'll have to back off underneath the tower. Thug has recovered exceptionally in this mid lane after dying twice. He's level 7 with the highest CS tied up with that CK. And the Queen of Pain. It is a Midas pickup for Xinxis. Is this a Midas game? I don't know. Fimit dead. Once again. This Weaver has died far too often. He's even got a sentry down. Like, he should be able to disjoint every single one of these Chaos Bolts. It is not a fast projectile. He's obviously using his Shikuchi to farm at times, and they're punishing him for it. He's 6 charges, like level 3 Shikuchi with 8-second cooldown. Like, there is no way you should be dying to that. Seems curious to me, but he'll die for the 3rd time. And he's going to return right back to the bot lane. It's a glutton for punishment, Fimit is. I mean, granted, in his defense, no one really plays Weaver that much. Relocate mid lane. It's going to be the first one. Saucy's going to be their defensive snowball. As I mentioned in the draft, pretty good against this. But he will end up feeding his life over for it. Reality Rift is there onto a moment as well. Cass going to bounce nicely, though. Keep him safe. Going out with the concoction. It's going to land onto Thug. It will proc his last defensive refraction charge. And Thug just needs to be a bit careful mid lane. Everyone else has been removed as the relocate returns them to bottom lane. Fimit, level 7, has really no farm though at all. Indeed, we take a look at the net worth and he is right there in the bottom. But the offlaner on the other side, despite only having the 1 death, that early level on Island Shell not being there really hurts Relax. By this point, you expect your Darkseer to at least have like a Buckler up or Arcane boots. Thug is going to be found out. They've got the detection there. He's dead. Greevil's Greed even going to pick it up. Alchemist with the last kill, last hit. Acid Spray ticking him out there. Ill in a bit of trouble mid lane as well. And they find the Ancient stack with Acid Spray. They'll be able to take this fairly easily. Sonic Wave even going to be expended for it, and yeah. Can't blame them. This is like really an economic hindrance to the Radiant side and would have helped their TA out a lot. And with their Alchemist picking up a good chunk of it, he's pretty close to the Radiance 10 minutes in on top of the medallion. So great game. You can get Radiance at about the 9-minute mark. But he picked the bottle. He stopped off for the bottle and the medallion. So mid lane, they are going to catch him out before picking up that Radiance. Nice use of the relocate there. From the high ground, Coop going to throw out shards. Not going to find anyone. Relocate back to the bot lane. Saucy going to continue to farm. TK doing very well for himself. Unfortunately, hasn't picked up a single last hit. 5 assists on this CK. 70 CS, 11 minutes in. So 6 CS per minute, roughly. A little bit more. On top of having 5 assists is really phenomenal at this point. Especially for a hero that doesn't farm very well in general. He's going to queue up the Reality Rift just to try and... It's scare away, maybe bait out that Sakuchi and then actually go in with the Chaos Bolt, but Coop gonna try and find himself some space mid lane, and the Alchemist will return now. So it's gonna be a pretty delayed Radiance in Alchemist terms. He did go for the 403, so it doesn't have that 4th point in Greedwell's Greed, but regardless, we'll be a little bit delayed. I'm gonna do a little bit of ancient farming. He did have his stack. Stolen from underneath him, though. And once again, Fimit goes out. I apologize for missing these kills, guys. It's really just... I don't expect this lane to be as active as it is, and Fimit 4th time as a Weaver going down. Should have picked that Lich, guys. Pretty brutal start for the Weaver overall. Arcane Boots is all that's up onto Relax. He's level 5, though. And Weaver, despite dying 4 times, is 3 levels ahead of him. They do bring down that tier 1, though. So Weaver going to have to start being present elsewhere on the map. He's going to TP back to that bot lane, look to continue to farm, as the Alchemist will now take the jungle. Perhaps the Weaver takes the mid lane. TA certainly can't kill him off by her lonesome. Relax going to run into a moment here. Sonic Wave is available. Midas ticking away for the Queen of Pain. No deaths, no kills, not much to speak of. 83 CS, 13 minutes in. It's pretty good. Pretty good. They do get the mid lane tier 1. So, tier 1 towers traded in about a minute. Relocate top lane. He's going to go in onto a moment. They're going to find him with reality. One big crit. Chaos Bolt is there as well. Unstable Concoction not thrown by the Alchemist. He tries to get it off onto the Wisp. It's the greedy play. They vacuum into with the Chemical Rage, though, and the Snowball. He'll be just fine. Relocate comes out. They will bring down the Darkseer in return. 1 for 1. Witch Doctor for Darkseer. Thug going to come in with a big Meld Strike onto 2 with the side blades. They'll bring down the Tusk, though. Walrus Punch is there before he dies off. 2 for 1 in Grease's favor. Meanwhile, they kill the Weaver again. Bot lane. What are they getting? 4-second stuns every time? He has time lapse available. This Weaver must... Oh, I wish I could see the missteps, but Chemical Rage is not available top lane, and Alchemist not going to go down. The Sonic Wave is there to bring down the TA with the pure damage, and he's even going to queue up the stun, but Chemical Rage, Voodoo Restoration, he'll be just fine. Barely surviving top lane, just picked up the Radiance. That's going to help a lot in terms of his farm. This Radiance is well behind where he wants it to be. He's only 1,000 net worth ahead of the CK, and you rely on creating quite a wide margin in that respect by this point. So CK already has the armlet and 1,300 gold. Saucy looking great for Team Grease here. 9-9 is your score. It's a very even game at this point. With an Alchemist on your side, when you have no net worth advantage, you've got to be concerned. You've got to be concerned. And some of your net worth right now is invested into a Midas. So this Queen of Pain is anything but fight ready. Or at least as fight ready as she could be at this point. Could have more or less a full Aghanims. 1,500 from that Midas recipe. So. Snowball. Kills off an illusion. Spartan's got his other one scouting behind enemy lines. Fimit's gonna find it, but should know this is an illusion as well. Weaver kind of very under farmed at this point. Even the Darkseer, who is 2 levels behind him, is still more farmed than this Weaver. 5 deaths will do that to you. 4-man smoke movement. Relocate save is relatively close by to Saucy. Some deep vision gonna be planted by the Dire side. Take a look at Dire Vision. Gives them a good amount of information of who's farming that Radiant jungle. Maybe they group up and look to take this tier 1 away from Saucy and Spartan, but right now, still kind of baiting, and like with your Alchemist, you don't want to be doing this. He picks up a Solar Crest, so he's fight ready, but You really want him to be accelerating his farm with the Radiance, picking up an Octarine and a Manta. Starting to become that split push menace across the map. Boots of Travel, always be present for the fights. And now, I mean, Saucy and Spartan have TP'd up to the top lane. And with the overcharge and this tower being already as low as it is, they may be able to bring this down quicker than their counterparts in the Radiant safe lane. Should be about simultaneous. No Chemical Rage though for them on the Dire side, and their safe lane will go down, and they can mount a defense here. Relocate in the back lines. It's going to be the IO and the CK. They're a little bit out of position here, though. Unstable Concoction is going to fly out towards the Wisp. Sonic Wave through many, but the Alchemist goes down before getting his Chemical Rage off. Saucy still surviving. The Grave is there. Now Coop is going to drop as well. Buyback from the Alchemist. He TP's in bot lane. 2 big right clicks with the freshly picked up Desolator. And now the Unstable Concoction goes out, and what are you buying back for when there's no follow-up here? Fireman on the backlines trying to find Saucy. He's going to armlet toggle, and he will be able to right-click against him. Where's the time-lapse there? Why didn't you time-lapse immediately? He doesn't end up doing so, and now Fireman in a little bit of trouble. He's going to have to TP out. The Weaver play has been subpar in this matchup, to say the least. Overall, it's a big fight win. I mean, the CK is barely behind the Alchemist. This is a hero who not only is crap at farming, but is up against a hero who has Grievel's Greed. 4-0-6. 12 of the 10 kills the CK has been involved in. Alchemist gonna get Reality Rifted in. The Chaos Bolt is there. 3 seconds. Defensive Snowball will help them out. Gonna Snowball through to the Wisp. He's gonna tether to the low ground. Nicely played. Unstable Concoction goes out. Walrus Punch onto Saucy. Ill gonna look for the Grave TP. Mentioned this early in the game. Saucy gonna look for the TP as well. The CK won't be so lucky. And actually, the Darkseer will tick out in the well too. Meanwhile, on the low ground, Scream of Pain goes through to Spartan. Relax gonna try with the wall and the vacuum. Onto Zinxis. He's in a little bit of trouble. He does have to blink out for now. Doom not there, and they will deny the IO. Meanwhile, Thug brought down, cornered in and beaten by the side shop. So overall, fight recap not showing much, but great team win for Deutschland after. Still, the buyback on the Alchemist hurts them a lot. They get Saucy before he TPs out. They get the Templar Assassin. So pretty much and they even got the Dazzle as he was TPing back. The Wisp been denied there, but pretty much all the important heroes go down. Darkseer, nowhere near a threat at this point, is actually going for a recovery Midas of his own. I feel like maybe Fimet should have taken that route as well. But invisibility picked up by a moment. He's got the Death Ward ready. He finds himself a favorable engagement. He could pop this smoke. They have detection. They have sentries on the Wisp. So if he does, they will find him. Smoke gonna be popped by the Sakuchi. Immediately drop the sentry. They'll catch Fireman. He's dead. So that time I can't say it was poor play. Just a little bit unfortunate. Sakuchi expires as soon as they throw that Chaos Bolt. And that's an easy roast with all the minus armor from both the Desolator, the Meld, the Medallion, and even the Chaos Strike when it does crit. Really good Roche lineup for the Radiant side. They're going to relocate forward. Unstable Concoction already going to be queued up. It's going to be thrown out. Spartan comes through without the Tether. The Grave is there, though, to save them for now. And since they've expended the Sonic Wave, Dire need to back out, and they do. Midas going to be picked up by the Darkseer. He's going to start to recover his farm. Fimet is dead weight on the Weaver at this point. 1-6. And the Darkseer, who is already 1,500 net worth ahead of him, 1,300 net worth, will continue to skyrocket upwards. Picks up his level 11, has caught up and surpassed the Weaver in levels, who was at one point, if you recall, 3 levels ahead of this Darkseer in the offlane. This Weaver pick has not panned out, and I don't know that so much it's the pick at this point, as opposed to the play. Boots of Travel picked up by the Alchemist here. But he needs to be farming, not waiting for ganks in the trees. 3,600 gold onto Saucy as well. What do you pick up here? Could just go something like S and Y. Perhaps goes right into a Satanic or a Heart. Both are good. Even the Halberd isn't bad. Helps tank up his illusions effectively. And it's pretty good against the Alchemist, who generally speaking is not going to build a BKB. He's got the Radiance turned off. Waiting for support inbound, but you are wasting time, man. Look at it go. 41, 42, 43, still in the trees. And he might even be dead. Reality Rift. 3-second Chaos Bolt. Ultimate going to be popped here. Lot of right click. They need a couple crits, though. And they won't get them just yet. Now they're going to look to turn it. Unstable Concoction. Going to be thrown out. Does land onto Saucy, but he's going to be fine. And the Wisp actually TP's out. So Chemical Rage popped off. It's going to expire soon. And the Radiant side make it out completely unscathed. And the Alchemist wastes about 3 minutes in the damn trees. While Ill is farming on his Dazzle, picks up a medallion of his own. Relax is farming, has 2,200 gold, so can pick up a Blink Dagger very soon if that's his route. Thug was farming in the meantime, has the Desolator. 700 gold in addition. Feel like should have more. Maybe a Yasha on the Courier? It's going to be a heart for Saucy for now. So Thug feels a little underfarmed. Does have the Blink. Blink was the pickup. Okay. The Blink was a new pickup after the Deso, I believe. Does have that Aegis. It's going to expire in 2 minutes. But it's going to be a full heart, pretty much, for this CK at this point. Going to leave the VIP booster on the Courier. Still needs another 500 gold for that heart recipe. And we'll back out. I do like the pickup here. The Weaver has no right click to worry about, so Queen of Pain dishes a lot of the bulk of the damage for Deutschland, so hard is good, certainly. I feel like the sustain would have been nice of the Lifesteal, the Satanic, but regardless. With the heart regen, TK will be more than sustainable, especially with the Wisp on top of him. Thug blinks forward, Meld Strike is there, Vacuum, Snowball gonna try and save Coop. He sticks up, will be brought down. The Sigil is there to slow them though. And the Darkseer actually surges himself as opposed to Thug. The Sonic Wave through 2 is big. Thug gonna drop. That's his Aegis. He's isolated now though. Relocate save is not being queued up. He'll be able to blink out to the south and meld up. They have a sentry on a moment. Stable Concoction. He'll stun himself. Thug should be able to make it out of here. There's a Radiant Ward, so he's well aware no one's in this area. And he'll blink down. I feel like he could have walked away and then blinked. Gets a Psionic Trap onto the Alchemist. Alk feeling a little unsafe at this point. Meanwhile, Saucy continuing to farm. Has pretty much enough for the heart. We'll pick that up soon here. At last. Does pick up the bounty rune, so heart in tow very soon. Buyback right now costs him about 1,100, so perhaps saving for that buyback. Relocate always a possibility. Bot lane, there's the charge and the snowball onto Saucy. Relocate save is being queued up and he'll be fine. Death Ward even dropped for this one, so they probably just returned the Wisp and let him die. Yeah, Thug goes towards the mid lane, gonna cut the wave, so they're just gonna return the Wisp. Ill was looking for the grave save to TP out, but they actually scouted him with the wave, and now that's a dead Wisp. No big deal. No big deal. Relax top lane. It's going to be accompanied by Thug here. Snowball is going to come through from the south. It's going to connect onto Thug. He doesn't take damage though. Has the refraction up, able to blink away. Stable Concoction, Alk gonna stun himself. Pings out. As to the location of that duo of the IO Darkseer, but this game is looking grim for Deutschland, I feel. Reese has kind of weathered the storm of the window that the Alchemist has to really get ahead. Thug has found a good amount of farm on the TA, all things considered. The Chaos Knight has found a monumental amount of farm. Does have a 5-1 and 6 KDA, so somewhat understandable. EKB early pickup after the Midas from the Queen of Pain. Jump forward, meld strike, vacuum once again. It's gonna be a dead tusk. He does snowball it up, but one more right click, jump forward from Zinxes. He gets a 2-man Sonic Wave. It only damages 1 though, and he's taking tons of right click damage. Yeah, don't know if BKB was the build there. They do get Dazzle on the west side. Thug is a little bit pincered in at this point. Maybe brought down, big meld strike into a moment though. And the moment with the Voodoo Restoration will be just fine. Thug trying to TP out. Unstable Concoction is there. It's a dead TA, so overall ends up being a pretty good trade. It's actually a 2 for 2. It's more or less a wash. Meanwhile, the bot lane was being pushed in. Get a little chip damage on the tier 3 with the ultimate. Things still looking really good for the Radiant, in my humble opinion. Take a look at the metrics. Yeah, you have an Alchemist. There is a negligible gold lead. And experience is about even as well. Your Weaver has picked up a Sange. More than likely going to be an S and Y. Halberd feels underwhelming, as the TA will probably go for a BKB here soon. And TK has his illusions.
My powers regenerate.
Look at that with the hard regen. I feel like you really have an armlet on, does it?
Let it go.
Coop looking like he's building a Shadow Blade and actually is able to complete it up, so he can initiate from this smoke without revealing himself. And the relocate save is once again nearby to the Wisp, but perhaps they have enough to burst him down. The cast comes through. Coop is actually looking for the Wisp now, and he won't be able to find him in time. They even expend the Sonic Wave early. Oh wow, the Soul Burn actually gets the CK in the base. And the Walrus Punch is going to find the IO as well.
Getting warmed up.
I guess the relocate wasn't all the way to base. Jump forward, blink, unstable concoction. Ill is going to be caught out. Can get his grave off, it seems. He'll be able to do so just before the screen lasts. Gets the offensive weave off. Ill's going to be dead here. Tries to bring Relax with him. Or heal Relax, but Walrus Punch. They're both going to be taken to the grave. Roshan is the apple of the eye of the Dire now. After what was an excellent kind of mid-game for Greece. They rely a little bit too much on the relocate save there, and they're punished for it. So yeah, he actually didn't relocate to Fountain, and that's why the CK died, I feel. If he relocates to Fountain, I feel like the CK survives there, but either way, Aegis for the Alchemist.
Work for both of us?
Get better.
He's going to be able to do quite a bit of farming here. Still atop the net worth as you would expect him to be, and after that fight is a little further ahead now, a little more comfortably ahead. CK with his ult cooling down maybe wants to do something, but with his Aegis window now for Team Deutschland. Team Germany, that is. It's going to be rough. They're going to have to find clean picks and be able to extricate themselves from any further danger. At some point, maybe Fimit transitions into a core. At this point, still sitting on Treads and Sand. Queen of Pain has picked up the Aghanims. So the Midas doing work. Ghost Scepter on top of it as well. Very nice against the CK and the TA. I feel like Ghost Scepter before BKB could have been a lot more helpful. I mean, as mentioned in the draft, there is no catch aside from the Chaos Bolt. That's the only thing you're worried about that BKB is helping you with. And perhaps the Reality Rift, but Shadow Wave is physical, TA is all physical, CK is for the most part physical. So Interesting to see the BKB come out before anything else, but does now have the Aghanims and the Ghost Scepter. Queen of Pain going to be very survivable here. AC completed up on the Alki. He's going to blink forward and look to find the Unstable Concoction. He mantas up. He throws it out. It's going to be onto Relax. The Grave is nearby and will be popped off onto the Darkseer. Meanwhile, the CK has popped the Illusions up. But in the mid lane, there's a skirmish going on. TP out from the TA. And they only get the 1 kill onto the IO. Saucy will be able to make it out. Alchemist, all by his lonesome, does have the blink out of top lane. The heck just happened there?
Regeneration.
Fight recap will tell us. Only the IO goes down. Pretty much. Double Concoction to be queued up. Blink.
You hear me telling you to throw it?
Hill in a bit of trouble. Solar Crest is there. Radiance burn. And the Acid Spray. Hill is more or less dead to rights here. Doesn't even get the Grave off inside. Tries to save it a little bit too late. Good timing from the Alchemist there. Nice solo kill going his way. He's going to build that first Aghanims. Doubt this is anything else. Who does this go to? I would assume the Witch Doctor. Yeah, Queen of Pain already has hers, so Witch Doctor makes the most sense. Could be a Weaver Aghs, but probably not. Witch Doctor plus Weaver Aghs, guys, is a pretty interesting interaction. See who the Alchemist gives it to. Yeah, Witch Doctor's already making his way over, so a moment gonna pick up an Aghs here. If you cast the Death Ward and the Weaver time lapses you, it will continue to channel despite you being moved to your previous position.
Oh, look at it go!
So you could be moved like 600 to 1,000 units away while you're still channeling the Death Ward, which makes it very hard to cancel, of course. It will be the Halberd for the Weaver. So because Thug is going a somewhat glass cannon build, the Halberd could be pretty effective here. But you would expect a BKB to come out for this TA, and I feel like maybe that's a little bit of hubris from the TA side. Building into this MKB before the BKB. I mean, it's tough against the Radiance. You do always want to land your Meld Strikes. Having a Meld Strike dodged is very detrimental to a TA's damage output for sure. But still. Halberd is now going to be pretty effective for this Weaver. And they should have saw the Sange at some point. I mean, as I did, they probably maybe didn't expect it. He has a Weaver, an Aghs. Is that the second Aghs on the Witch Doctor? Oh, Witch Doctor does not. He ends up giving it over to the Weaver. Alright. Time lapse, 0 mana cost, 20-second cooldown. And you can cast it on allies, of course. This is the biggest deal. MKB does now come out for the TA. She does not have buyback, I believe. Just barely away from it. We'll have buyback on top of that, so. Thug looking good. CK also looking decent. Building to that AC fairly soon, but things gonna stagnate for now. You don't want to stagnate too long if you're the Radiant side. The more Alchemist farms, the more he's able to buff up his entire lineup. Already has 2 pieces of that next Aghanims. And is able to blink away from the Meld Strike. Pops off the Chemical Rage. Shards. Not going to be thrown out just yet. Unstable Concoction is there onto the Wisp. Sonic Wave through 2 from the west side. Snowball going to come through onto Saucy. And Coop is going to be able to Shadow Blade away. Nice vacuum wall onto 3. And the Alchemist is going to be bursted down to that Meld Strike. Meanwhile, on the top side, Feynman going to try and come in. But he's a Weaver and he does nothing. And a moment is going to be chased and right-click down. More than likely. Yep, one more crit from the Illusion will be there. Queen of Pain jumps in. 3-man Snowball onto Saucy. He will drop. Thug is here to try and play cleanup crew, though. And overall, it's a 2 for 2. Alchemist, Witch Doctor for the IOCK. So a pretty even trade overall. Thug looking to find someone. 2,000 health on this Weaver, though, with the Aghs and the Halberd. He'll be just fine. Yeah, Thug definitely felt like Weaver wasn't nearly as farmed as he is, but that extra Aghanim stats going to keep him safe. The Urn Tick, of course, not going to cancel the blink as the refraction was up. So Thug going to be fine to play on the edge a bit. Going to be a Desolator coming out for Coop, and it's going to come soon with this Recovery Midas he picked up at some point. I don't know if you totally call it a recovery Midas, but 4 position Midas. Where is this next Aghanims? Still pretty far away for the Witch Doctor. 4,200 gold on the Queen of Pain. Item builds in this one. Shiva seems like the most obvious against the CK and the TA. Hex also pretty good, of course. But Shiva seems like the most obvious build, especially with the Assault Cuirass coming out for him on the CK. And with your Alchemist already having an Assault Cuirass of his own. So we'll see what Zinxis builds into. Still not willing to replace any of these item slots just yet. I mean, he does have a TP, so. Coop does pick up his full Desolator as well. Gonna be nice with the Walrus Punch. Walrus Punch, of course, not dodgeable, guys, so Solarcross not gonna keep this Dazzle safe. But he has managed to find a pretty admirable amount of farm for a Dazzle. Witch Doctor has had to play this hard 5 position, and that is because they are relying on, at some point, the Aghanims to come out from him, which is kind of all your Witch Doctor needs. And he does have the Glimmer Cape as well, so Glimmer Cape plus Ags plus the Aghanims time-lapse should keep him safe more often than not. Weaver did finally go for that hand to minus, recovery minus. I feel like he should have gone for this quite a bit earlier, but does pick his up as well. In terms of the levels, looks like right now it's pretty even all across the board. Slight Radiant advantage, maybe, or slight Dire advantage, I should say. With the Tusk being as highly leveled as he is. So if you look at the experience, yeah. It's actually 12,000 in Germany's favor. 10k, pretty sizable gold lead. It should be a little bit more with an Alchemist at this point. But he does pick up that Aghanims now. And that'll be for the Witch Doctor, more than likely. They are pretty much in fight-ready shape. Roshan is spawning in 20 seconds as well, and they've got some pretty good pit fight. Both teams have some decent pit fight. Definitely advantage Dire in that sense, with the Death Ward, the Sonic Wave.
man.
And there it is. Big ultimate now. Level 2 ultimate Death Ward. Jump forward from Thug. Is going to catch a right click onto Zinxis. BKB's immediately. Sonic Wave through 2 is not going to do any damage to Thug. Fireman in a little bit of trouble will be able to scurry away, and it looks like they pretty much just trade BKB charges at this point. Acid Spray goes out on the high ground at least to cancel any blinks, and now immediately the Dire are going to take towards the Roshan pit. And they may be able to get this uncontested because of that skirmish. Everyone backing off towards the west.
Look at it go.
Trying to push in this wave, and they pretty much feed a free Roshan because of it, so BKB charge is traded. The 10-second BKB for the TA, who was probably an 8-second BKB. 9-second BKB for the Queen of Pain. So definitely advantage Dire there. And now with the Aegis in hand, Radiant are not ready to push up high ground. Saucy's farm has slowed pretty heavily as he hasn't been able to farm heroes as much. Was 5-1-6, I want to say, around 10 minutes ago. Even further back into the game, and is now 7-3-6. So really just 2-1, 2-1-0 in the last while. Relocate though, bot lane. He's going to go in. Vacuum is there onto Coop. Coop is going to get the cheese off, but he does die underneath the wall. Dark's here with the blink initiation on top of the relocate. Nicely coordinated by the Radiant side. They'll be able to bring themselves back, so at least we'll stymie any push that was imminent from Deutschland, from Germany, because they have the Aegis. So all that the Radiant want to do right now is stall things out, and they have successfully done so, at least for the next 42 seconds with that Tusk on the sidelines. Saucy? High ground. He'll run into the Alchemist. Radiant Vision will catch vision of him now, and Alchemist is going to blink away. TP. Thug has a double damager. I'm going to show his face mid lane. A lot of people mid lane though. Alchemist. Probably not working on another Eggs. Tusk Eggs super underwhelming. So at this point, increase your own farm. Maybe get himself an Abyssal Blade. Blink Abyssal Blade would be nice. Queen of Pain does have a full Hex at this point. Felt like I was waiting on that next item for a little while. So this could be great for the initiation for them. Hex up the Dazzle or the Wisp. Perhaps even one of these cores if they're able to get the jump, but it feels like either of those targets being hexed up could bode very well for their team fight. Results. With the Aegis still available now for 3 minutes. Up on the Alchemist. They're going to take towards this bot lane. And right now it looks like they're going to commence some split push top and mid from the Radiant side. TP situation for the Dire side. They don't have one on their Witch Doctor, and they don't have one on their... Well, they have a Boots of Travel on their Alchemist. Yerp. But they don't have one on the Witch Doctor, and that's why you'll see a moment running back. TP's abound. A plenty bot lane. TP out. It's going to be just fine for the Alchemist. Now they're going to look for a return over in the Dire jungle. Weaver. Let's have that max MS. Swarm is going to scout ill briefly. And they kill off the Dazzle. They get that. Easy kill.
Dazzle darkens.
50 seconds on the sideline. Maybe they queue up the push now. Still 2 minutes with the Aegis. 1 minute where the Aegis is up and Dazzle is up. A moment going to draw a line down mid. Wants to go.
Look at him go.
Needs to be accompanied by his teammates. For now, the Alchemist can join them whenever he'd like, and is pushing out that top wave. Top lane and wave combined. Never done that one before. Ping issues, looks like, from the Radiant side. Thug gonna have him smoothed out pretty quickly, though. Germany may be talking things over. Yeah, a moment doing some drawing on the map, so it looks like talking things over a bit for the German side, taking advantage of this pause time. Perhaps someone went to tinkle in the meantime. Can't stream snipe, guys. We got the delay on. And now a moment we'll give the go. Waves aren't being shoved out quickly enough, though. Dazzle will be up. This will be a full 5-on-5 with the Aegis in hand for the Dire, if it is a fight soon. But only a minute on that Aegis. And will the Alchemist join up? We shall see. He does TP over to that mid lane now. What he's doing exactly, I am unsure of. But he is scouted out. Relocate in towards the base. They don't have units in here, though. What the heck are you guys doing? Hex up onto Saucy. They're going to find him with the Sonic Wave on the back lines. They're going to chase the Wisp away. He has 1 second to tether up, and he's not able to do so. Wisp is down. Death Ward is there. Saucy with the optimistic TP out. Meanwhile, he's trying to work on the base with his images, but he may get a tier 3, and that's it. I don't know if that's worth it. They both have buyback. Both these heroes have buyback, but Phantasm is on cooldown for 2 minutes. And I feel like that's the cue if you're the Dire side. You gotta shove out your waves a bit so they can't commit these relocate shenanigans. Oh, what am I doing?
Shadows.
You caught it, guys. Dead Dazzle.
You were out of your weight class.
X is there. Now 3 heroes on the sidelines. You definitely want to see a push. What is Alchemist afraid of exactly top lane right now? If Dazzle uses the vacuum, he can TP out, right? Am I wrong with that? He just did, so... I mean, he can TP out underneath this TA right now with his Boots of Travel onto his heroes, but he's going to get hexed up by the Darkseer. And now he can definitely jump forward and will do so. Gets off the Unstable Concoction. Surge is going to expire in just a fraction of a second. They get the Darkseer. Still, though, space created. Space created. Your CK respawns, your Dazzle respawns, your IO respawns. And you have the buyback on the Darkseer, and I'm sure they were well aware of that buyback. Still has a vacuum wall. Still has a hex. Thug is cutting the wave top. So now the Witch Doctor has the blink. So that's like about 1,000 range. You blink in, you ward, and you get time lapse back 1,000 range away from the fight while your ward is ticking away. So pretty good item pickup there. But Thug with the relocate is going to bring down his range racks, and the reaction is not near fast enough. On the dark side, they're even going to dodge the cask with the Phantasm pop. Sonic Wave's going to come through a lot. Thug is going to actually take damage from it. Death Ward is bouncing through as well, but they just relocate, save out Saucy. Thug able to TP out on the west side too, and they get a free range racks. Greece are just the puppeteers in this one. They've completely delayed out the entirety of the Aegis duration. They died brazenly in the top lane trying to bring down a tier 3, and were able to create space with their Darkseer and their TA against the Alchemist so that they could respawn. And now they've taken a range racks for free. All it cost them was a relocate. Speaking of which, though, Spartan.
Sound of my.
Look at it go.
Coop was looking for a fight, but didn't find much of one in that IO. Walrus Punch, Sonic Wave, dead IO, 40 seconds on the sidelines. Does have the buyback, however. And the Radiant are doing an excellent job of continuously cutting these waves. Thug has 5,300 gold as well. Daedalus pickup would be nice. Coop gets a tower bottom. They are going to poke at high ground in mid with the IO down, but not going to get anything too significant done. Glyph is baited out already, so they'll transition over to bottom. Blink forward. Wall is there. It's a pretty underwhelming wall. They can blink up with the Alchemist. He's waiting for the Chemical Rage, though. Jump forward. Unstable Concoction will catch out the CK. Maledict is there as well. Keep him safe for now, though. Taking a lot of damage from this Alchemist Illusion, and there comes the Reality Rift into the Chaos Bolt. Alchemist is in trouble here. Defensive Snowball will save him up to the high ground where they relocated away to the base. A Moment is doing the Death Ward dance, and it's not going to kill anyone off. Meanwhile, they bring down the range racks top, or the melee racks top. Saucy's all by his lonesome now with the Halberd popped off, though. Doesn't have a drum charge. Not going to be able to make it away here, it doesn't seem. Meanwhile, bot lane, they get the Walrus Punch up, and Saucy's dead too. 4 heroes on the sidelines, 4 buybacks available for the Radiant, but an odd choice from them. A Moment cannot continue to push in as a Witch Doctor alongside a Tusk, but 10 seconds till the Alchemist can TP right on top of them. To Mjolnir, he'll clean up this wave quick. And he can TP right back to bottom lane and force out these buybacks. Has the blink as well, but not too worried about doing so. They're going to shove in both waves. Why the heck not? Yeah, buybacks are coming out, both from the Darkseer and the IO. Meanwhile, with the Chemical Rage pop mid lane, they're going to use the Hex cooldown onto the Alchemist without having any follow-up. And now he'll just jump forward with the Unstable Concoction. He'll bring down Spartan. The Sonic Wave comes through as well. Thug is hexed up. Shadow Strike is going to be there. Reality Rift not going to land. The Vacuum Wall is pretty underwhelming, but they are going to be able to bring down the Alchemist.
Your death is a secret I can no longer hide.
Zinx going to have to BKB off the slow. He's going to put some damage into Thug. Thug needs to be a little bit careful. Gem is on the deck. TP in from the bot back. Alchemist. There's the Unstable Concoction. Grave going to keep up Thug for now. Saucy trying to man up against the Alchemist. He's going to Reality Rift, try and get away. And down to the south, they Scream of Pain down that Alchemist. There will be the Hex coming out from Zinxis onto Saucy as well. This is a dieback for him. If he goes down, he will die back onto the CK. Die back onto the IO. Relax in trouble as well. He bought back early. The Grave will be there for now. And the Ghost Scepter is going to be popped off by Zinxis. He'll have to back off. But to get the melee racks in the meantime, they'll get the range racks here as well. Because the Darkseer had to back off. CK still on the sidelines for a long time. And they're able to sustain up Zinxis with the Voodoo Restoration and the bottle charges. So they keep going back in. Hex onto Coop is going to find him early. But now the Unstable Concoction comes through. The Vacuum is there, but there's no wall to follow it up. Death Ward from a distance from the Witch Doctor keeps them at bay. They get the full lane of racks. That's 2 lanes going their way now. Buyback from the Dazzle. CK still on the sidelines. 50 seconds. Do they continue here? Relocate? That was a weird one. Pymet playing far forward does have that time lapse available. And now they'll put the battering ram in the Alchemist on the front lines. He's going to bring down that final tier 3. And the racks are falling very quickly as well. They're waiting for their Seeker, but they're waiting too long. Hex up onto Thug. They get the Shadow Strike off. The Sonic Wave is there. Grave is there in time. Big vacuum wall. It's going to bring down the Tusk, and the Alchemist is going to fall as well. The time lapse is there for the Weaver himself, but he doesn't get it off onto the Alchemist or the Tusk. And the amount of successful defense in the top lane, they end up losing the TA, but the CK is up in 7 seconds.
Ready for another round?
But they want to go back here. Tusk is going to have to buy back in order to defend the base alongside Xinxis. Xinxis was a little bit low. They didn't want the CK as he was responding to relocate on top of them. So understandable buyback from the Tusk there. Aghanim's Weaver has been underwhelming in this one. I haven't seen any crucial target be time-lapsed out of trouble. Saucy in mid lane needs to be careful. Have a Blink Hex available. Refresher Sonic Wave is there as well. The first Sonic Wave used though. Shard's gonna scout him out, but he's made it out for now, so somehow Saucy's able to accomplish that. And the game is relatively even in terms of structural damage. I mean, all that's standing is a tier 3 with 71 HP. Somehow this game is still even. The one thing that isn't even is the buyback status. Weaver and Queen of Pain have a buyback. Nobody else in the game has one off of cooldown. Never mind gold. They have the time lapse. Weaver needs to not use the time lapse on himself, considering he has buyback. He needs to use it on his Alchemist or his Queen of Pain at some point. So what's the plan? A moment gonna scout out Roshan. Alchemist up in 20 seconds. They can continue to scout this out. It seems like the Radiant side aren't willing to just give it up with their tail between their legs. Shiva's Guard picked up by the Darkseer. They're going to blink in with Xinxis, TP, and the Alchemist as well. This was not scouted by the Radiant Observer Ward. Well played by them. Level 2 Boots of Travel, paying dividends for them here. And they'll get a free Rosh. So now, not only do you have the 2 buybacks on the Queen of Pain and the Weaver, you have that extra life on your Alchemist. And nobody has buyback for 2.5 minutes minimum on the Radiant side. And once those 2.5 minutes are up, the only one who does have the actual gold for it is the IO. So Cheese onto the Tusk. Aegis onto the Alchemist. 3,600 gold in addition to that. So it does have 3 lives if he needs them. He needs the buyback Boots of Travel in. He can expend it. Has more than enough gold for it. High ground ward dropped by the Radiant side. They're smoked up inside their base. High ground ward dropped by the Dire side. Jump forward from a moment. He gets the cast. They get the Hex off onto Ill. The Death Ward is there, but the vacuum going to cancel it. In a moment, it's going to pop underneath the wall. Xinxis is going to pop his BKB here, but now Coop going to go down as well. Doesn't get the cheese off. Sonic Wave is through 3, but it doesn't bring down Ill. The Refresher one will, but Thymed in a lot of trouble. Doesn't get his time lapse off once again. Big hold from the Radiant side. And the Alchemist is going to be brought down on the side as well. 4 down. 1 with buyback. Greece looking very strong in their base. Queen of Pain, the only buyback in the game, guys. The only buyback in the game. Aegis popped. What the heck was going on with the Alchemist in the corner there? A moment jumps forward and just gets immediately obliterated. Coop was soon to follow. Not sure how the Alchemist got into that corner. How? Why? When? And he dies for it. The Queen of Pain really the only one who did any damage in that team fight. For Deutschland. And Germany in a world of trouble now. Mid lane trying to nuke the wave out is Xinxis. Has the Hex. Will drop it onto Spartan, but gets a Hex back himself from Relax. And now they're able to bring the IO over to accompany the rest of his team, and Mecha Creeps are easily secured. Fimet trying to fight up here. Won't matter. Jump forward from Thug. He's going to go straight for the buildings. Jump forward. They find Xinxis. Xinxis has a buyback. Will be blown up. Is going to expend it immediately. A moment up in 5 seconds as well.
Long live the Queen.
Radiant. are going to continue to stick around in the base here. Saucy has the Manta, will Manta off that Shadow Strike slow. And is able to make it out. Jump forward Hex, but there's no follow-up just yet. Zinxis has one Sonic Wave, but he's got 4k HP with his armlet on. Scream is not even going to hit. They're going to get the Walrus Punch off. Oh, and the Snowball hits through too. Very luckily so. Saucy, though, going to look to turn and fight into Coop. He gets the relocate save out. And the Alchemist will be able to stun himself here. Saucy relocated to the backlines. Is going to be brought down. Armlet toggling. Screaming Pain is there, going to connect. He's got too much HP at this point with the overcharge. Got the damage reduction as well. They get the Hex off though. Saucy's down. No, he does have the buyback. Spartan up in the Dire base. A moment having to TP back to defend. Picks up a TP. He's going to die here.
Oh, look at it go!
Gem on the deck. Not the biggest deal at this point. Creeps do take out the tier 3 top lane. Still though, Mega Creep advantage. Going the way of the Radiant. And it doesn't feel like the Dire is going to be able to punish them in this window with the CK and the IO are down. They've got too many creeps in their base. Where is the Alchemist? He's sitting in base right now. Can join up alongside Coop and Fireman in the mid lane at a moment's notice. Has 4k gold, perhaps considering replacing one of these items, but doesn't have just quite enough for that. And the buybacks are starting to come back aplenty. Alchemist has buyback. No one else on the Dire, but everyone on the Radiant has buyback available, basically. Jump forward Hex. They're going to find Fireman here. He does have a time-lapse available. Is going to be able to expend it right away. And will be able to Sakuchi. TP inbound as well from the Alchemist now. This is a scary one. All the buybacks are available. Thug is going to expend his. They're going to try and secure Mega Creeps. Glyph will be there, though. Jump forward with the Shivas. They're going to catch out Fireman. He has BKB. He has timeless. One big meld strike, though.
For heresies unknown,
Dead Weaver, 111 seconds. Fireman has felt particularly underwhelming in this game. It's not an elimination matchup, folks, but it is pretty important in terms of seeding and also in terms of risk factor. If you start in that lower bracket, it will be best of ones. Rapier time, though. Remember, you got to win to get in to the G2A.com gift card giveaway, guys. So, definitely people on edge here. 58 minutes in, 44-30 is your score. Radiant looking good. They do expend the buyback on their TA, but they still have one on the CK. They do not have one on the IO, however, so buyback relocate is not a possibility. They're trying to flank them from the south, but a jump forward Hex is going to find the moment. That's a blown up Witch Doctor. He gets the Glimmer Cape off, though, and they get the return Hex onto Thug. Thug isolated up. Zinx is going to be able to pop his Ghost Scepter. The Death Ward bouncing through. Not going to be able to bring them down. Now Sonic Wave to the south side, where Coop is in a little bit of trouble. Refresher Sonic Wave goes through all the CK illusions, but doesn't kill anything off. And Zinx is going to be right-click down. 4 heroes on the sideline for the Dire. GG. Somehow Thug able to create enough space. Jumping in onto that Witch Doctor that meanwhile on the south side of the fight, the rest of his lineup brought down completely. CK doing 6.2k hero damage in that fight. And yeah, I mean, Alchemist is just not that late game intimidating hero. He really isn't, and felt like he spent far too much time looking to gank rather than farming and accruing a lead early on. And overall, very well played from Greece. They had a good, really good laning stage. Feel like the 5th pick Weaver ended up being, although it looked on paper like a good matchup, super underwhelming. The early Aghanims on the Weaver as opposed to the one on the Witch Doctor didn't really do any work. I never saw, I don't know about you guys, but never saw a really crucial time-lapse save other than the Weaver expending it on himself. So yeah, unfortunate for Team Germany. They're going to drop down to the lower bracket. But either way, guys, they'll still be in the double elimination playoff. Going to be starting soon for the National Cup. We've got one more tiebreaker, Kazakhstan versus France, and the playoffs begin shortly thereafter. From ProDota, Hitbox, G2A.com, Esport Gaming. I'm forgetting someone. And Dota 2 Lounge, of course. This has been the ProDota National Cup. I am MRP, your resident Canadian Dota 2 caster. Thank you for joining me, guys. You can follow me at MRPDota. And you can follow at ProDota as well. I believe it's at ProDota EU. Let me check that for you quickly. ProDota EU on Twitter as well for everything National Cup. Thank you guys for joining me here on hitbox.tv/ProDotaEN. MRP signing out. We'll be back with some more Dota very soon.